I'm Alex.
I'm Jake.
We play Minus the Bear, and this is Pretty in Noise.
I was a salesman. I sold data storage for computer networks and stuff for like 3 years, and that was awful. And then the band started, and shortly after, I stopped working a couple of years after the band started. I think maybe 2 or 3 years.
I had some strange jobs. Before the band, I worked doing telephone relay for hearing impaired, to and from hearing impaired people. I worked at the Apple store for a year. I did some freelance recording and sound engineering. I was actually the band's live sound engineer before playing keyboards.
What kind of jobs do you think you would have to take to make ends meet if Minus the Bear didn't work out?
I don't even want to think about it. I don't really think about it all that much. I imagine I would just talk to some of my more creative friends that work in maybe in film and video commercials and stuff like that. They need a lot of material and writing and all that. I might just talk to them, but I'd probably just start another project, another musical project, and hopefully that would work out.
Yeah, it's scary to think about. I would, I would just kind of ramp up the audio engineering and stay in the music-related field, hopefully, and record and produce other bands.
To become one, copy of a copper, steal and
I would say quit college and play music full time. And I would say, yeah, definitely quit college, play music full time, and if not then go to music school or something like that. I was not in that headspace at the time, but now that's what I'd tell myself.
I went to music school, but I would tell myself to write more and learn the discipline of being creative.
Yeah, the everyday writing
Yeah.
discipline type of thing.
Yeah.
Trying to not, like, you can't wait for inspiration to creep up because it never does. You just have to start
Yeah,
working.
or it will when you're not able to harness it. So
Yeah.
Just imagine
More
the output
diligent.
if I
Yeah.
had written songs weekly since age 20.
Yeah, totally. There'd have to be some good ones in there.
There would have to be, yeah. Sheer odds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like producing just sheer quantity is a major factor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
putting
absolutely.
the time and getting your 10,000 hours in on actually writing, as opposed to
Learning
also
to
playing
play,
the instrument,
yeah.
but the actual writing creative muscle
Yeah.
needs about that much time as well.
I think the important thing to do, this is kind of what you said earlier, is to not get into music as a means to make a living if you expect to make a lot of money at all. But I think there's a lot of ways to monetize it these days, but I think that the best way to make a living at it is to just start getting out on the road, touring, and having people see you live is probably the best way for a young artist to learn how to do it, just to learn how to be on stage or to perform. Yeah, it takes a long time to get your sea legs, to get it right, and playing at home is only it's not as effective as going out and showing it to people.
Yeah, I think you need the audience that can help you hone what you do.
Yeah.
The audience is a big part of the educational process.
Mm. Yep. Any way to get in front of people. You just start with talent shows in high school and whatever, and go on to play like little punk rock clubs and basements, and
You could do what Huey Lewis did in Busk.
yeah, just busk around.
Just
Places.
hours and hours, days,
Mm.
weeks, months, years.
Drugs have done good things for us. If you don't believe they have, do me a favor, take all your albums, tapes, CDs, and burn them. Because you know what? The musicians who made that great music that has enhanced your lives throughout the years are real fucking high. Okay.
What do you think about cannabis?
Well, I think it's becoming, it's mainstream. It's becoming more mainstream, and I think, I mean, I agree with them. You can't say that you disagree with people using cannabis, but then enjoy the fruits of the creativity that comes from it, like, you know, Led Zeppelin records or the Beatles or
Pink Floyd.
every single record
Yeah.
that's ever been written almost entirely. And, you know, and we're lucky as Seattleites now to live in Washington State where it's legal, and, you know, nobody has to go to jail for no reason anymore. And I mean, it's a tool. It's another tool that you have in your little pack if you want to get out of your head or find a different approach to music or writing or anything. How to pick up girls? Definitely. I mean, the biggest thing to keep in mind when you see a girl that you want to talk to is that she's just going to be as nervous as you once you start talking to her. I mean, and all you have to do is start talking to a woman, and usually that's how it starts. You know?
Yeah,
You
it took me so long to
you have to
realize
be
that.
like, you have to have the balls to just simply walk up to him and start a conversation. Yeah,
It's half the battle.
that's the whole. I mean,
If
that's
not
the whole
all
thing.
of the
It
battle.
might be the whole battle.
It might be
I don't have any
entire
like
battle.
pickup lines or anything like that. You just have to go up to him and say hi and let's go get a drink. Let's get a coffee.
Let's talk about something.
Yeah. Let's have a chat. Why don't we?
Let's exchange ideas.
Someone's turning the lights down low and the music up. Do you feel the beat?
The funny thing is, I still feel like we're trying as hard as we can to make it, you know, to like keep it going. It's a constant struggle, and it doesn't really feel much different today than it did when the band started. It's just you really have this drive that, you know, and I think that that's what people need to keep in mind, is that it's something that doesn't happen all at once. It's like a pretty.
Yeah,
It takes forever to get a band off the ground. It takes years sometimes, and it took us years. And yeah, I mean,
And
it's,
it could stop at any moment, I think,
Yeah.
is, you know, the reality of it. So,
yeah,
I think
life changes.
you're
and
always,
who knows?
you know, on your toes. And I think one thing that keeps coming up in my mind is, you know, if you're gonna do it, you got to do it because you love to do it. It's not a escape from a reality. It's just, you know, if you love to do it and you do it well enough for long enough, you know, I think it's more of a possibility that it could become your main thing. I think, you know, you can't have sort of a world against me attitude.
Mhm.
You have to kind of do what you want to do, and then hopefully, you know, I don't know.
If it's enough, I mean, if
Yeah.
the music's good and you work at it and you play the game a little bit in terms of making sure you have a booking agent if you're, you know, if you get to that level and stuff. It's just once you have the infrastructure, or once you have the songs, I think it just comes from work. I don't think there's very many. There's no artists out there that didn't do the work at some level that are successful. Not very many, and I don't think there are very many people that. I mean, it's obviously the inverse is true, that there's so many more people trying to be musical artists and whatnot. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if you do the work, you'll find an audience if you're a musician.
Yeah.
These days especially.
I would focus on the music, and everything else comes into place when that's where it needs to be.
Yeah, at the level it needs to be, yeah.
I think, but what do I know?
Yeah, what do we know? We're still trying to work it all out.
It's a lot more fun alone. I can do anything I want, and so I'm swimming. It's more like floating, and I'll just stay out here until the night comes crashing down, and I swim out as far as I can.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the interview that we just did, Alex and myself, Pretty Noise viewers. Thank you for having us.
Pretty in noise.
Pretty In Noise viewers. Thank you for having us.